from the playgrounds to backyards all across the country, kids are hard at work in hopes of someday becoming the next Michael Jordan, Larry Bird, or Magic Johnson. Recently, basketball has exploded overseas, and young people around the world have a new set of role models, like Hakeem Olajuwon, Vlade Divac, and Tony Kukoc. Through the years, the McDonald's Championship has assembled a rare collection of talent as the best teams from every corner of the globe compete for the title of world champion. This year, the tournament will showcase the talent of the NBA champion San Antonio Spurs. And who knows, maybe Tim Duncan or David Robinson's work over a weekend in Milan will inspire the next great international star of tomorrow.
Tonight's the night we hit on that. It's the NBA on TNT tonight. We're gonna shoot the rock. What a block. Time's running on the clock. It's the NBA on TNT tonight. It's the NBA on TNT tonight. It's the NBA on TNT tonight. Yeah.
Welcome to Milan, Italy, a city that retains its European charm in the midst of this modern metropolis. The great Leonardo da Vinci left his mark here, but this weekend's artistry will take place on the court at the Fila Farm at the 1999 McDonald's Championship. Hello, everybody. I'm Ahmad Rashad, and welcome to TNT's coverage of the 9th McDonald's Championship. Now, this event was established in 1987 as a joint effort between the NBA and FIBA, basketball's international governing body, to promote the sport globally. The biennial tournament brings together the top club teams from leagues throughout the world. The NBA champion San Antonio Spurs headline the list of 6 championship clubs representing 5 different continents. This year, a team representing Asia will be competing for the first time in tournament history. Now, to get an idea of the scope of this event, consider this. It is being broadcast in 34 different languages to 162 different countries by 58 international media outlets. So now, let's go down to the man who promised me he'll be calling this game in Italian, Marv Albert. Buonasera, Marv.
Oh, thank you, Ahmad. Ahmad always showing his versatility, and I'm enjoyed by Hubie Brown to my left, Doug Collins to my right, and guys, it was back on June 25th in Madison Square Garden in New York that the San Antonio Spurs walked off the court as the NBA champions. It's been a short off-season for the defending champs, but Doug, looking at this club, they appear once again to be one of the premier teams in the league.
Well, Marv, everything starts with their twin towers, Tim Duncan and David Robinson, and they lead the league's best defense. Team shot under 40% in the playoffs, and this was their numbers, the dominance. Duncan, the dominant offensive player, Robinson, the dominant defensive player. So they are back. Expect Duncan to have an MVP-type season. The big hole, though, Sean Elliott, out with kidney surgery. Who is going to take his place? Malik Rose will start tonight, a high-energy guy who actually played in the middle last year. Chucky Brown coming over for Charlotte, and they'd like to keep Jaren Jackson in his customary role coming off the bench. They like his explosive shooting.
And one other key addition, the 15-year veteran Terry Porter coming off the solid season with Miami, and you know he's going to be getting lots of playing time. And Hubie, the San Antonio Spurs going up against the host team here at the McDonald's, Varese of Italy. What is the Hubie Brown scouting report on Varese?
Marv, let's go back to 99. They won their 10th Italian League championship in the last 21 years. They are led by a very interesting trio of players. At 6'11" at the center position, you have Daniel Santiago from Puerto Rico. At point guard, Gianmarco Bazzeco at 5'11". He leads the country in assists every year while he gets 16 points a game. Then the best all-around player in the country at shooting guard, Andrea Eneghin. His dad was one of the greatest players ever to play FIBA basketball. Now, last night, this ball club won 98-88 over Lebanon. The trio, 49 points, 14 assists. The big thing about this ball club, they want to run. Everything is fast break. They are not a tall, talented team. They are small, quick, with little depth, but they shoot the threes. 20 attempts last night. Bob, San Antonio, quickness and size. I don't see it tonight.
All right, both teams getting ready. They're going through their pregame warm-ups. We'll be back in a moment with the opening tip, plus a look back at one of the NBA's all-time great players, the late Wilt Chamberlain.
Championship in Milan, Italy. As members of the basketball community assembled here in Milan this week, they were met with the news that one of the game's all-time greats, Hall of Famer Wilt Chamberlain, died of congestive heart failure at his home in California on Tuesday at the age of 63. When 7'1" Wilt Chamberlain came on the scene, he literally changed the game of basketball. His battles with Boston's Bill Russell were legendary, and his 100-point game in 1962 is one of his most memorable achievements. That same year, he scored an NBA record 50.4 points per game. After winning a title with Philadelphia in 1967, he won another in 1972 in Los Angeles. His legacy is astounding. Wilt's life and death touched everyone in the basketball world.
The NBA family has lost a giant of a man, not just somebody who was so big and dominant, but somebody whose, I think, the spirit is so huge. He cast a shadow over our game, a shadow of accomplishment that will never be achieved by another player in terms of the minutes he played and the points he scored, the rebounds he secured. But even beyond that, we're very happy that we were able to tell him in the last couple of years how much he has meant to our game. But it's a sad day for the NBA family.
I saw just the videos of him playing, and he was pretty dominant. I mean, a guy who changes the rules of the game is pretty incredible. I think he did a lot for the game of basketball.
The Big Dipper was a wonderful player, a wonderful sportsman, and from my own personal experience, a wonderful person. Now let's go down to Marv, Doug, and Huey.
All right, thanks, Ahmad. And Doug is a one-time member of the Philadelphia 76ers. What do you remember most about Wilt Chamberlain?
Marv, I remember the first time I met Wilt. I'd just been drafted out at Illinois State University. We were at the Maurice Stokes benefit game at Toucher's Country Club, and I was in the locker room getting ready, and Wilt Chamberlain came walking in. And I looked at him, and I was just in awe of this guy. And I went up and introduced myself, and he said, "I know who you are. Good luck with the 76ers." He was a man of power, grace, and I went out and played the game, and all I could do was look for Wilt when I was out there. He will be missed.
Tell me what strikes you most about Wilt.
Well, I always found him to be such a warm guy, but the records are just staggering. Today, he still has 29 records in the NBA. When you think of 50 points a game, he only did it 122 times. 7 scoring titles, 4 MVPs. He was a wonderful human being. He treated everybody kindly, and his records are just awesome.
All right, let's get back upstairs to Ahmad.
Thanks, Marv. And now, in memory of Wilt Chamberlain, a moment of silence.
Questo sport. Ricordiamo ora con 1 minuto di silenzio un mito del basket, Wilt Chamberlain.
Time to get washed. Daddy's almost home.
Welcome back to Milan, the fashion and business capital of Italy, as we check out the starting lineups for the San Antonio Spurs. Familiar names: Malik Rose in the small forward position, Tim Duncan, David Robinson up front, Mario Elie, Avery Johnson in the backcourt for the defending NBA champions, Varese of Italy, with Corey Allen, Francesco Vescovi, Daniel Santiago on the front line, Andrea Medellin, and Gianmarco Pacheco in the backcourt. Pacheco, very exciting player. He is the 5'11" point guard.
Well, Marv, last night he came out with the bleached blonde hair tonight. Potseko with the red hairdo, so he got a little Dennis Rodman in him also.
Greg Popovich, head coach, general manager of the Spurs, beginning his 4th season as head man of San Antonio, and that's Massimiliano Galli, 39 years old, in his first year as the head coach of Varese of Italy. And there he is, Gianmarco Potseko with the new look.
Right there is a man for all seasons. He's 5'11". He leads the league in assists every single year. 2 seasons ago, he would have been the first guard in the history of the country to lead the league in assists and scoring. He was second in scoring.
And had a strong game last night in the victory by Varese over CS Sanchez of Lebanon, 98-88, to advance to this game against the San Antonio Spurs.
Well, you can see that the three-point line, the FIBA people are a foot, they extend the line from 21 to 22 feet. That's still a foot in on the NBA. The periods, we're going to play 4 12-minute quarters. The personal fouls you can see in the McDonald's will be 6. FIBA will usually play 5. And then the shot clock will be NBA shot clock, 24 seconds.
And the officials, Don Baden of the NBA and Carl Jungerbrand of Finland. NBA teams undefeated in McDonald's play. This is the 9th edition of the tournament, a tourney that began back in 1987 in Milwaukee as a 3-team event. And Italy controls the tip. Santiago with a 2-0 lead off the start.
Mark, great court awareness on Minigui in that time, though. He read the eyes of the tipper, stole it, and they got a dunk. That's his court awareness.
And as we have seen on many occasions during McDonald's open play, NBA teams get off to the slow start. For the Spurs, it is only their 2nd preseason game. They beat the Philadelphia 76ers by 1 in Philadelphia last Sunday.
Now, FIBA has been in camp since August 1st, plus playing exhibition games.
Nicely done again, Daniel Santiago, who played his college ball in the United States at the University of New Mexico.
See, Minigui is an all-around player. He's their best defender. He can score double figures, and he is excellent on the break, passing the basketball.
This is Malik Rose. His pass broken up. Tim Duncan, the MVP of the NBA final, looked to go to the crossover, and that is fouled.
That's a bad foul right there. The shot clock winding down. Tim Duncan's going to take a desperation 3, or he was inside the 2. I'm not exactly sure. They're going to call it a 2, and they're going to say he wasn't in the act of shooting, so I guess it was a good foul, Marv.
Potseko picks it up. Avery Johnson being played by Potseko. Here's Mario Ellie, who's had a lot of experience playing overseas. And the foul is called on Andrea Meneghin. And that is a familiar name to international basketball fans. Meneghin is the son of the legendary Dino Meneghin, considered to be Italy's best ever player.
He's a great front court player. Not only post up, could face the basket. One of the rugged rebounders ever in the history of FIBA basketball. His dad, terrific. First time I had a chance to see him was at the 5-star camp. 6 players came over from Italy, and they were young at that time. They played up in Pittsburgh and set a tone for the camp. It was just interesting, and then you followed his career because you had a chance to see him at such an early age.
And Gino was a draft pick of the Atlanta Hawks at a time where it was rare for European players to be drafted. Santiago to the hook shot, and he is off to the fast start.
Mark, this guy has improved so much. I saw him early in the summer in Puerto Rico. His confidence is on the rise right now. He believes in himself. He took that ball right at David Robinson.
And the steal. Corey Allen.
In the early going, you like what the Italian team is doing defensively, Marv. They're covering and they're trapping. They're quick.
Vescovi with a 3. So, Varese of Italy, known as the Roosters, out to a 9-2 lead on the San Antonio Spurs.
But, Marv, you made a great call there. The NBA teams get off to a slow start. You see David Robinson fumbling. They're not in the game right now, and this is very indicative of how we play over here.
They also don't necessarily take it very seriously. They feel in the long run they're going to knock these teams off, so it takes a while to get into it. Avery Johnson was fouled by Santiago. That's Santiago's first personal.
Well, in the first half of the first appearance, you'll usually see sluggish basketball because the MB team have not been able to play the exhibition game. The next factor is the lack of respect to the opposition. And what you are hoping for is that the team does not get off to a good start, which they have already, hit their perimeter 2s or 3s, which they are doing right now, and then playing their game.
So Tim Duncan missing on both free throws. 9-2 lead for Italy. Oh, beautiful give and go. And Gianmarco Pacheco has extended to an 11-2 lead.
They're very quick. They're very quick off the dribble, and you must pay attention.
Here is Robinson. Pacheco looking to run. Behind the back for Allen. Corey Allen played his college ball at Tennessee and hits.
Now, Marv, they're playing against the league's best defense. 40.2 field goal percentage against last year, which was an NBA record. They are 6 for 6 tonight. They are not nervous. They are playing great basketball.
Well, this crowd is fired up. Varese of Italy, sky high, leading the Spurs 13-2.
Why do birds suddenly appear every time you are near?
A wake-up call being provided by Varese of Italy off to the 13-2 start here against the San Antonio Spurs.
First of all, a great heady move by Meneghin by stealing the tap, and a great finish by Santiago. See, that's nothing more than a screen and roll and a perfect pass. Santiago is saying, hey, I don't start for the Puerto Rico national team, but I'm taking Duncan early here tonight. Now, Pacheco, we know, is quick off the dribble, and if you do come in, he'll make the pass. And then we have head-to-head. Why not? They're off. They could not have planned this any better.
Varese of Italy with a wonderful history in basketball. They've won 10 Italian championships, 5 European championship cups, 4 Italian cups. As it turns out, off to a slow start in their current regular season. On the disappointing side, at 3-3. Duncan cannot hit. Here's Robinson, and he is fouled. Now, David Robinson is still bothered by the bad back. Sat out the opening preseason game last Sunday against the Philadelphia 76ers. And there's a question as to how much he would play here tonight.
Well, Marv, when you watch David Robinson, he's almost got a stiff gait to him now. You can see it. He labors, and this is a guy who used to run the floor. He'd be like a small man. And a lot of his offense was created early in his career by outrunning big people. Now Duncan is the runner. Robinson is the trailer. He's a high post passer and really not the focal point of the offense. Therefore, his shots are down, his minutes are down, his scoring. But defensively, he still is a big, big part of this team.
You're absolutely right, Doug. He's laboring. Now, the other ball club is not a tall team. And you must punish these people by going down inside. And when you shoot and miss, get on the offensive board.
Nice look from Vescovi, and Santiago continues to kill the Spurs here at the start.
Well, I think it's great when we say that this is a team that led the NBA with an 8-point differential and then held teams in the playoffs. Only 2 teams scored over 90 on them.
Here's Duncan, not able to hit. Then again with the save. Varese has hit its first 7 shots. Look out. Oh, the rejection by Duncan, stopping Pacheco. And a foul.
I think I got a little excited there, you.
It was a great move by Duncan to come across and make the play. Now, Timmy not only gets the block, but he's looking to get the ball out, but he steps out of bounds. But right now, Avery Johnson has got to start paying attention now because Pacheco is doing it. Now, this is great ball movement. You're going to see it. They catch the Spurs in a rotation.
Santiago is hammered by Robinson.
I cannot believe that Santiago is even the same player. And you know, Marv, what happens, and Hubie knows this because he loves to coach big people. When big people get confidence, they go to a new level. And this kid now is catching the ball in traffic, going up strong, trying to finish. Last summer, he would have flipped that ball at the basket and gotten it blocked.
2 years ago, this young guy was in the Chicago tryout team. Got overlooked by everyone, all right, and started out at New Mexico, had to finish at St. Vincent's College NAIA basketball. But in the last 2 years, playing on a Puerto Rico national team, he's really blossomed.
Here's Jaren Jackson, who just checked in. And the Spurs now trail 16-5. We played only 4 minutes of this first quarter.
Well, I like what they just did here right now. They're going small by playing Jaren Jackson at the small forward, matching up with the quickness of the Italian team.
That game being played by Ellie. Santiago, guarded by Robinson. Allen with the long-range pop. At time forced it. Here comes Jackson. Jaren Jackson, a guy who made his mark with his long-range shooting, particularly during the course of the postseason. And the foul called on Varese of Italy.
Marvin, I had a chance to do a lot of the Spurs games last year, and they really missed when Sean Elliott. They missed the athletic defender, but to me, they missed his outside shooting, too. With Malik Rose out there, he's going to give you energy and all that, but you don't have to guard him. And now they pack it back in, and Duncan and Robinson and take away their opportunities. You've got to respect Jaren Jackson's jump shot.
We know that the game of basketball in the NBA is all about spacing. Because of the size and the quickness of the athletes in the league today, you have to have 2 potential three-point shooters out there to spread the defense.
On the subject of Sean Elliott, he is back home in San Antonio recovering from the kidney transplant surgery. The new kidney donated by his older brother, Noel. And the hope is that he will be able to return, but at this point, no one knows what the future holds in terms of his playing. And we'll have more on that at halftime. Foul called on Robinson. That's his first. 5 minutes gone by in this first quarter. Santiago with a series of moves and finally missed the shot. Here comes Johnson. Avery Johnson down low for David Robinson, who's able to whip by Daniel Santiago.
San Antonio loves on that strong side. You can fill that corner with a shooter, so if you get up high, you can throw that little pass that he throws, and no one there to help. He takes it right to the basket.
Well, you always love to see post-up teams clear out the backside, get them off of that post area, so no defense.
Oh, beautifully done. Poseco got the step to set it up.
Did we say that he leads the league in assists every year? You can see he's got a game.
What a move. And Santiago 5 of 6 now for 11. Jaren Jackson off the bench to hit the 3.
Now what that does is just open the floor. Now you got to go out and cover it. Now you've got room to work inside.
How about Jaren Jackson finally signing a contract that will keep him with one team for several years? This is a guy who played with 8 different teams in 8 seasons.
Well, the thing you have to love about him, Marv, as much as anything is right now he has the green light. You see the teams that he played with. But Popovich has said, you come in, if you miss 4 in a row, take the 5th if it's a good shot. And he feels comfortable doing that.
Good ball movement, setting up for Vescovi. Francesco Vescovi, excellent outside shooter. He's a veteran on this team. He's 35 years old. This is 13th season with Varese.
That was a foolish foul by Santiago, mainly because David Robinson was reaching for the ball. When you're pinned behind a man, do not gamble and pick up a foul. And the reason being is he is such a key, not only offensively, but defensively on the boards for this ball club.
And you know what happens, Marv? Big guys, when they get a little tired, they stop moving their feet and they commit those little foolish fouls. And that's exactly what happened. He was so excited he burned so much energy here early.
And he has been a foul-prone player. Coaches would like to see more concentration. He just picked up his 3rd. He sits down, replaced by Cristiano Fortes. Played well last night in the victory over Lebanon. So David Robinson at the line.
Yeah, one of the things that the Spurs did last year in the playoffs was that Robinson and Duncan shot their free throws well up over 70%. In the regular season, they were under 70%. And with the new rules, you'd expect these guys to shoot maybe a combined almost 20 free throws a night.
Jackson for 3. Spurs are now 4 of 10 at the foul. Here's Jackson again.
He should continue to shoot it. In the playoffs last year, he averaged 5 threes a game and shot 38%.
Robinson on the rebound of the miss by Medellin. And the foul is called on Varese of Italy.
You know, some of the new rules, Marv, obviously the no forearm checking above the foul line, so you're going to be a lot of penetration, which is going to put a premium on shot blocking. The 5-second limit on player backing in, the old Charles Barkley, Mark Jackson rule. Reset the shot clock. If it goes out of bounds under 14 seconds, it'll go to 14. If it's over 14, it'll stay where it is. And then the illegal defense on the strong side, you can play any defense on the strong side, which now we have to get some movement now to get the ball in the post. You just won't see guys dribble the ball down and throw the ball in the post.
Now, the one thing about is movement. The league is looking for movement. In the exhibition games that were played during the summer, what happened was because of that reset rule alone, shot attempts went up 4 to 5 a game, and that's a positive step.
And David Robinson sits down. Samaki Walker checking in. Had a good one against the Sixers in that opening preseason game. First round pick of Dallas back in '96. Spent 3 years with the Mavericks. Here's Allen, met by the double. Allen with the step and rejected by Walker. Kept alive. Shot clock has run out.
See, in international FIBA play, if the shot is blocked, if you took the shot, you get a new clock if you get it back. McDonald's rules, if it doesn't hit the rules that we're playing here tonight, if it doesn't hit the rim, you do not get a new reset. The guy was caught because he's used to the old rule there, Marv.
Just under 5 remaining first quarter. Spurs with the ball down, 21-13. Terry Porter has come on for the first time for San Antonio. The Spurs have Jackson with Porter and Johnson in a 3-guard alignment along with Walker and Duncan.
By taking Santiago out of the game, which they had to do because of the foul trouble, they lack a post presence now. So it's going to be difficult for the perimeter people to shake their men on just basic cuts to the basket.
Potseko. And he was out of bounds, so the ball back to the Spurs.
You know, Marv, also, too, with this change of lineup, you're going to see the versatility that Samaki Walker brings his team. You take David Robinson out, you put Samaki Walker to power forward, Tim Duncan goes to center, and you have 2 guys that could score out on the floor. With Will Perdue, that was not the case.
And last touch by Duncan. Good play by Allen in fronting on Tim Duncan.
Well, the Spurs are definitely sluggish on the entrance passes into the post people. They are a half a step behind getting the ball to the man when he's open.
Medellin, it counts in the foul. It's on Jackson. So Medellin to the line.
That is a pro guard move right there. He's forced baseline. That's what San Antonio loves to do. There's a shot blocker back there, so you have to pull up that little medium-range jump shot. UB is one of the toughest shots in basketball to hit because your momentum is carrying you forward.
All the great defensive teams send you to that midpoint because that is a low percentage shot. He's 6'7", and he's very, very talented.
Cortez took a shot, and he's shaken up. Remaining in the front court as play continues. Avery Johnson able to knock one down. It's an 8-point lead now for Varese of Italy. Cristiano Cortez is hurt. And the crowd is reacting. Here's another look at it.
See, Jaren Jackson looked like he might have got him with an elbow as he swung in there. You know, the guy stuck his face in there. But watch Jaren Jackson's elbow to see if he cracks him across the face. Right there, he got him very, very hard in the face. You see Don Baden there says, get up and play.
The toughest thing in club basketball throughout FIBA, the majority of the teams will have a quality center, but the backup is a major drop-off in their performance. So consequently for this team tonight, with Santiago with 3, and now with the shot on the nose, this is a difficult situation for this ball club.
Hey, what is it bleeding for? What is it bleeding for?
Cortez being checked over as Francesco Foyetta, 6'9", 225-pounder, checks in. He is the third-string center and backup power forward. wearing number 13 and matched with Tim Duncan. 3.5 remaining in the first quarter. Poirier with it. Fonseca does it off the dribble. And Walker with the rebound. Look out, Terry Porter able to recover. And fires the three. Terry Porter had a terrific season last year with Miami Heat. Signed with the Spurs as a free agent. Beautiful backdoor pass. And it was put away by Witcherer. Dennis Witcherer, backup point guard, but being used along with Fonseca here in the first quarter. 25-15, Spurs down by 10. Tim Duncan not able to get into it. Here's Walker, and he's rejected. Fonseca running the break, putting moves on, and after going behind the back, try to give it up, but it carried out of bounds.
This guy's been watching Jason Williams from the Sacramento Kings play. He is quick and exciting, but what a backdoor pass here. And no weak side help once again, and a great reverse layup by Witcher.
A broken right wrist took that shot a moment ago from Jaren Jackson. They don't think it's broken, and he will try to play, but easy for us to say he'll be all right. Tomorrow night, the action continues here on TNT. Jackie Chan, who does all of his own unbelievable stunts, in one of his best movies yet. Watch First Strike. That's tomorrow night at 8 p.m. right here on TNT. You guys do your own stunts, too.
Oh, absolutely. And you know, Marv, what happened, I think, on that Jaren Jackson play, these European players sometimes get a reputation for flopping. You know, they're acting or whatever, and I think Don Baden initially thought he was flopping.
Samaki Walker for Terry Porter. Now Walker posting up. Off the double. Nicely done. Samaki Walker, who came off the bench in the opening preseason game for the Spurs last week, hit the 23 on 7 of 12 from the field. 8-point lead for the Italian team. This is the 9th edition of the McDonald's Championship. Marv Albert, Hubie Brown.
Oh, what a move! First of all, a spectacular pass, because it had to be right on the money. And not only the catch, he shot the ball with the opposite hand. That was beautiful.
Well, the Spurs down by 10. Avery Johnson, yes.
See, Marv, he's totally changed his game where he can make that shot now. And teams still don't believe it, and they're going to make him do it. But he has worked so hard to get the spots on the floor where he can be effective.
The guy shot 48% during the season this year. When are people don't understand? He can make that shot.
And once again, a nice pass converted by Foyer. Francesco Foyer. Extending to that 10-point lead as we approach a minute left in the first. Porter's pass picked off by Allen. Fonseca. And the foul.
Corey Allen is an intangible type of a player. 1 year ago, he was the MVP in Argentina. And you just like, this is just a beautiful pass. And the catch with the left-handed shot off the glass. That is so hard to do.
Down to 45 seconds remaining in the first. Fonseca off the pick. And the good box out by Walker.
Samaki Walker is a physical presence. 6'9", 240, 245. When he's healthy, he'll make a big contribution.
And Porter hits the three.
That guy's going to make a big contribution, too. Miami will sorely miss him because he took a tremendous amount of pressure on Tim Hardaway. He handled the ball, let Hardaway play off the ball in many situations.
Plus the defense, Doug.
Yes.
Either on the point guard or at the two-guard position. Allowed Pat Riley to play the two of them together. And a quality player. 6 times in his career, average over 15 a game.
Final seconds of the first quarter, and as Fonseca made his move, he took the hit. So they have 5 seconds remaining in the quarter. Antonio Daniels will just come on, committed the foul. Potseko on the crossover. Potseko is blocked by Walker. And that's it for the first quarter. Well, Varese of Italy got off to a 13-2 lead at the start, led by that man, Daniel Santiago, who is now in foul trouble with 3. But after 1 here in Milan, it's Varese of Italy, 29, and the Spurs of San Antonio, 22. Back with more after these words. Out the Il Duomo Cathedral, along with Cynthia Cooper, one of the stars of the WNBA Houston Comets. Fans greeting the Spurs at various locations around the city of Milan. David Robinson besieged for autographs. There is Cynthia Cooper, who is part of the McDonald's championship activities. MVP of the WNBA final. Houston Comets winning their 3rd straight WNBA title.
A very classy woman who has a great game and plays big whenever the pressure is on. Love to watch her play.
Second quarter underway. The Spurs trailing by the score of 29-22. Vieira and Robinson on the tip. And Porter controls. And Porter fires it up.
You know, Mark, the San Antonio team has great resolve, and I watched them again a lot last year, and in moments like this, they get together and they get angry, and they say, look, guys, it's time to start playing. Popovich doesn't have to say anything. Watch what happens with their defense here in this quarter.
This is David Robinson telling us the other day that, and Tim Duncan saying the same, they look at Greg Popovich as Dennis Butcher of the range. They look at him not as a coach/general manager. They refer to him as manager of the team.
And he feels almost like he's a baseball manager. He just sort of keeps everything together for them.
32-25. Varese of Italy with the lead. Porter able to shake off Medellin. And last touch by Varese.
Now keep an eye to the left of the screen right now. David Robinson is being pushed in the lower back, and you know that he has the bad back. So Popovich was up yelling at both referees.
Good fake by Porter, but coming up short, kept alive. Antonio Daniels backs it up.
Back when Porter used to be the point guard for Portland, had him pass up all the shots. Tonight you say, I like the shooting guard stuff.
Robinson able to recover. And again, Porter with the fake. And the ball goes back to Varese of Italy.
You know, one of the things when you watch a player getting in shape, before they get their legs, they don't have their balance. David Robinson has fallen about 3 or 4 times tonight, and that's the first sign of not having your legs, QB.
Medellin.
Remember we told you earlier, this team will shoot the threes. They shot 20 in that ball game last night. So this is not out of character for them.
Foul on Medellin. Think back to last season, the San Antonio Spurs got off to that bad start. They were 6-8. Led to speculation that Greg Popovich was in trouble. And then they turned it around. They finished 37-13 in the lockout shortened season, and then had that remarkable 15-2 run in the postseason, concluding by beating the New York Knicks in 5 to win the championship. Walker was called for the offensive foul.
You know, Mark, just to follow up on your point, after they were 6-8, they finished 37-13, which is 21-5. Then they go 15-2. They were 46-7 in their last 53 games, playing in a very tough Western Conference.
2 minutes gone by in the second quarter. Glenn Secunda, who played 3 years with Benetton Treviso under Mike D'Antoni and won the Italian League Championship. Mike D'Antoni, one-time head coach of the Nuggets, and now a consultant with the Spurs. A timeout has been called 34-25, Spurs trailing by 9. Talked about these slow starts that David Robinson usually experiences, and he is bothered by back problems. Did not play at all in that first preseason game. We talked about it with head coach Greg Popovich.
Exactly the same as every other year. His starts are unbelievably slow. We didn't play him in the Philadelphia game, our first preseason game, and we've opted to give him the whole 30 days to get ready to play. Last year it took him about 3 weeks, in his estimation, before his back felt well enough to go out there and perform the way he wanted to perform. So we're going to assume it's going to take that long this year, too. So we've gone very slowly.
You know, Marv, to follow up on that also, remember now with the lockout, they didn't start until February, so he had a lot of time off. And big guys get out of shape a lot quicker than smaller guys with that amount of time off. It takes them longer to get in shape.
Miscommunication between Daniels and Robinson.
Well, you know, that's a poor entry pass, Mark. You never pass a ball to a post-up guy until he calls for the ball. David was falling backwards that time because of a collision with the defender, and the pass was made.
6 turnovers committed by the Spurs. They are trailing by 9. 2.5 gone by here in the second quarter. And the Spurs get it right back. Daniels on the run. He is Ellie, but he fires one.
Is there a stop sign with the Spurs about 18 feet from the basket? I've never seen them stop and launch so many long shots before.
Tim Duncan, Avery Johnson getting set to return. Medellin with the behind-the-back move. Shot clock down to 3, down to 2. Giardini and Robinson with the rebound. Elliott nowhere to go, was very fortunate to get it away. Here's Daniels. Antonio Daniels brings San Antonio within 7.
You know, they're waiting for this guy to get it together so he can be their backup point guard. He's really struggled running the team.
Terry Porter diving for that loose ball, and he's able to create the tie-up with Secunda.
See, they love this part of his game. He's an excellent athlete. He can score. He's more of a 2-guard. They're trying to force feed him to get the confidence. But you and I both know, Doug, that at the NBA level, when you want to turn them over and he's on the play, you're going down the floor and pick him up at 94 feet. You're not going to let him advance the basketball uncontested.
And remember last year in the finals, they lost confidence in him and actually went to Steve Kerr. And Antonio Daniels sat down.
But now you have this guy, Terrence Porter.
Avery Johnson coming up short. I wonder what the effect will be on Steve Kerr, who even last year was not able to get into his normal shooting rhythm. Secunda for 3.
You know, it's amazing. You know, these guys are playing so loose and free. Last night, they were tense trying to win this game to get it against the Spurs. Tonight, it's just playing.
Watch the expanded version of Jackie Chan.
21 seconds. And San Antonio got off to that bad start, down by at one stretch 13-2, now down by 9, 41-32.
You know, Mark, what they've done to try to get back in this game is they've gone small. They've taken David Robinson out and put in Malik Rose to give them energy. And you see what's happened now. They're fast breaking. Duncan's playing center. This is their energy lineup, what they used in the playoffs last year.
Avery Johnson brings the Spurs within 7. They have been able to reel off 7 unanswered points to get back into it.
A major strategy, FUPA, by the coaching staff of Italy. Santiago, they put back into the game, and he picked up his 4th foul. Was not on the floor for more than a minute to a minute and a half. Now that is a major disaster for this club.
Daniel Santiago got off to the fast start offensively. But a guy who is usually in foul trouble, there he is right back on the bench for Varese of Italy after picking up, as Hubie mentioned, number 4.
Well, the maturation of a young player, when you got it going well, the last thing you want to do is get yourself in foul trouble. You got to stay away from those. The night you're struggling, that's a different story.
So Malik Rose up front with Tim Duncan, Avery Johnson, Mario Ellie. Jaren Jackson also on the floor for Greg Popovich. That's Jackson for a 3. And this is the point guard, Potseko. Medellin for 3.
Well, he really has a pretty shot. That's a tough shot. He caught the ball, didn't shoot it in rhythm, and then rose up and shot the ball. His momentum had completely been broken, Marv. That's a tough shot.
He's showing us a total game here tonight because he can defend, he can run, he can pass, he can hit the three.
7-4, Andrea Medellin. And here's Corey Allen in the open floor and put home on the follow by Pacheco.
See, when you go small, some of these small guys don't understand they have to rebound.
Yeah, that's right.
And the old story, never assume a guy's going to make a layup.
So Italy up now 46-34. Malik Rose. And rebounded by Allen, Corey Allen, out of the University of Tennessee, a teammate of Allen Houston of the New York Knicks at Tennessee. Seiko off the mark. 2-on-1. Jackson now ahead of the field. Face down, but gets it to Rose. Good hustle, though, by Secunda. And the Spurs managed to get the 2 points anyway.
Marv, I think it's a good thought maybe to try to play Malik Rose at a three. I don't see it happening. He's not a three-man. He's an inside player who runs. He gets on the offensive boards. I don't see that happening.
And the foul is called. It's on Jackson.
See, Secunda was wide open. He's already made 2 outside shots. He passed the shot up to go to another guy who had an opportunity. When he made the pass, he turned around, shook his head. He said, I should have shot it.
Glenn Secunda split his college career between Syracuse and Penn State.
Oh, there. 4-1.
Avery Johnson to Mario Ellie. 46-38. Spurs trailing by 8 minutes and a half left first half.
When that shot is taken from the corner, many times you've got guys buried. You've got to get guys back.
Shot clock at 5. Medellin off the spin. Nicely done.
He has tools. Now, there's supposedly an interest by a number of NBA teams, and the statement that you're reading here in Italy is that this will be his last year in the Italian League. He's going to try to make an all-out effort to play in the NBA next season.
Well, Mark, what I like about this young guy is not only his skill, but he's got some toughness. And you have to have toughness to play in the NBA. You bang him or whatever, he doesn't shy away from the contact.
Big guard, 6'7", 215 pounds, 25 years old. Here's Tim Duncan, who is now 3 of 9 at the line, 0 for 3 from the field. Tim Duncan will follow up Rookie of the Year honors with an NBA title and Most Valuable Player in the finals. Just under a minute remaining in this first half. Corey Allen rejected and fouled. Combination of Duncan and Rose.
Well, Corey Allen is just taking his time. We're talking about an ex-CBA guy. He's played in Belgium, Argentina, Israel, and this is just a heady move. Nice power move. Give him the head fake. Get the defender up in the air. Step under. Get the contact.
But see, he's not. Malik Rose is not a shot blocker, Hubie, so he should stay down knowing Tim Duncan's behind him. I mean, he's played with Tim Duncan. He knows he and Robinson are back there to block the shot. These guys combined for 7 block shots a game.
Allen averaging 20 points a game during league play. He's a guy who's played in the CBA, Belgium, Israel, Puerto Rico. He was MVP of the Argentinian League. This is first year in Italy.
Get it out.
9-point lead for Varese of Italy. Ellie from the left wing is fouled by Forte.
Now, that was beautiful because the receiver of the pass, Mario Ellie, just said, I am taking this strong to the rim. And he punished the defender. Now, just watch how strong he takes this right into the defender. And he's saying, hey, you got to get a perfect shot block on me.
And this guy is the heart of the Spurs, the vocal leader of the team early last season. He received credit for pushing both Tim Duncan and David Robinson. He was looking for more aggressive play out of both. He made the statement. He said, you know, we know, he said it from playing against San Antonio, that this was aimed more at David Robinson. We know in the big games, you're not coming up as tough as we'd like you to see.
They were calling him the grumpy old man. They said, we got to stop losing around here. This guy is intolerable to live with.
Down to 20 seconds in the half. And it's kicked out of bounds.
Robbins, at that time, Tim Duncan on a beautiful rotation to trap the dribbler. And Avery Johnson never gave up on the dribbler, got him in a perfect trap.
Fonseca gets the pick. Tried to go to a crossover, had very little room to operate. And again, it's deflected out by the Spurs with 9 seconds left in the first half. And Meneghin will throw in. Down to 5 seconds. Vescovi. And time will run out. It is waved off, would not have counted. So that is the end of the first half. Slow start for the defending NBA champion San Antonio Spurs, but picked it up in the second quarter. They are trailing by 7 at halftime.
Sport is brought to you by AT&T. It's all within your reach.
Welcome back to the Fila Forum in Milan, where the score at halftime is a surprising Varese 49 and San Antonio 42. Hello, everybody. I'm Ahmad Rashad, and welcome to the AT&T Halftime Report. The San Antonio Spurs made the trip to Italy without forward Sean Elliott, who is not yet fully recovered from the kidney transplant he had over the summer. Sean's illness has changed his relationship with the man who donated his healthy kidney, his brother Noel.
Definitely a lot closer now. I mean, I'm in him. I've got part of me inside of him now, so. And it's my duty as big brother to remind him of that constantly.
It's an unbelievable gesture when you think about you giving up part of your body for somebody else so that they can live or be healthy. And I think he takes satisfaction in seeing that. He saw me going into the surgery. He saw how, just how my body was every single day. I was too tired to do anything. I wasn't eating very much and just getting really lethargic. And then he sees me after, how I'm running around, and it's due to, part of his body that's making me feel so good. So I think if that was me, I would take a whole lot of pride and satisfaction in seeing that happen.
Sean originally wanted to come to Milan, but he later decided that traveling was just a little bit too risky. He remains a member of the Spurs, though, and he has hopes of coming back to play for the team as soon as he is able. Now, you can see the complete interview with Sean on NBA Tip-Off 99, an hour-long special on opening night, Tuesday, November 2nd at 7 o'clock Eastern, right here on TNT. And we will be back with more from Milan right after this. To the 1999 McDonald's Championship in Milan. The Los Angeles Lakers were dealt a blow earlier this week when shooting guard Kobe Bryant fractured his right hand in a preseason game against the Wizards. He is expected to be out a minimum of 6 weeks. Now, the Lakers will try to recover in time for next week's preseason doubleheader on TNT. Miami, Phoenix, Golden State, and the LA Lakers will all take part in the action at the Great Western Forum. Coverage is on Friday, October 22nd at 8 o'clock and 10:30 Eastern. When we come back, Marv, Doug, and Hubie with the second half.
Back to the Fila Forum in Milan, Italy. Capacity crowd, better than 12,000 on hand. And in the first half, the Varese Roosters of Italy, who have led all the way, have a 7-point lead. They got off to the quick start. You can see first 4 minutes, San Antonio missed its opening 5 shots, while Varese went 7 for 7 and then tailed off. Since then, shooting just 40% from the field.
Now you can see that Duncan and Robinson are struggling. They are 1 for 7. Forget about all the other stats. Between them, they are 7 for 16 on the foul line. They have missed 9 foul shots. big bearing in this game.
Varese is led by as many as 14. Their starting center, Daniel Santiago, in 9 minutes, 5 of 6 from the field, 11 points to lead the way, but he has picked up 4 personal fouls.
Yeah, Marv, it was really a shame because he got off to that great start that you talked about, and that's where he's got to stay away from those fouls. Sometimes you just got to give baskets up and stay away. He needs to be on the floor. I mean, he scored 11 points and only played 9 minutes.
You mentioned earlier when the Spurs went to the smaller lineup, they were able to turn things around, and they did go on a 15-8 run to end the half, down by 7.
Well, it's interesting here. Greg Popovich is going to start Jaren Jackson at the small forward position, recognizing he needs another shooter out on the floor. And I think what's happened is the Spurs are going to allow Malik Rose to sort of play himself out of that small forward position. You can really see how much they miss Sean Elliott. His ability to play screen roll, to hit the jump shots, run the break, defend at the 3 spot. Somebody's going to have to step forward here for the Spurs here before the season starts.
Who would you go at the small forward?
Well, I think you're going to see Chucky Brown get a look here, too. I think right now what he's saying is we're down 7 here. I got to put my most comfortable team out on the floor, the guys that I know and know what they can do.
So the Spurs control the tip.
Jaren Jackson had a very solid first half. You're talking about a guy who was out on the floor, was 4 for 8, really did a nice job for them, and even rebounded.
Foul committed by Corey Allen. San Antonio shooting 40% for that first half, 14 of 35. But they say 21 of 42, 50% shooting in the half. Now Duncan working on the 6'7" Allen. And gets the friendly roll, but it is being waved off.
Now the basket counts. They're calling a loose ball foul on David Robinson.
He did initially wave that off, though. I think he thought that maybe that ball was tipped, Marv, but that ball bounced around up there and fell through.
Don Vaden with the call, so the basket does count. Down to a 5-point lead.
David Robinson is struggling so much that he's standing straight up, and he cannot control his movement, especially if he is bumped. He loses his balance.
That bucket by Tim Duncan, his first field goal of the game. Oh! Long-range pop by Meneghin. Away by Santiago.
Now that was a nice ball movement by San Antonio, and David Robinson at Santiago pinned. Give Santiago a lot of credit because he came right over that top side and put out that long arm.
Duncan, and rebounded by Santiago. The point guard Pacheco pushing it down.
Pacheco is really struggling. He's only 2 for 11 from the field.
Vescovi. That's a 3. Francesco Vescovi has the excellent touch from long range. He now has 11 points.
Pacheco's, 6 assists with no turnovers, and he's breaking the guys down off the dribble. That's what's causing the problem.
Vescovi might be old, but he knows where to stand. He's 3 for 3 and 3.
Yes, Vescovi, 35 years old. He is the veteran on the team. Foul is called on Meneghin.
You could see him moving. He was moving to create the open area for the pass.
That was number 3 on Meneghin. Ellie. And Robinson, way off. Here comes Pacheco. 4-on-2 break. Vescovi passes on the 3, and it's picked off by Ellie. Moving on Meneghin. And played well by Meneghin, who did not want to pick up number 4.
He's the best defender in the country, and you can see he's got excellent timing.
The rejection by Robinson.
Robinson and Duncan are now 1 for 9 from the floor.
And David Robinson able to convert.
Well, you can also see San Antonio's trying to play now. Their energy level is up, and they're frustrated. And it'll be interesting here to see how Varese handles this as they start coming at them, because baskets are going to become rare here right now, Hubie, for this team.
Well, I think if they slow the game down, they're in a little bit of trouble here, because then they have to play a perfect game. They have to go back to that movement that they showed in the first quarter.
Escobi with the shot clock running down. Spurs are within 6. And Johnson was stripped.
Oh, give it up. Give it up.
Escobi chased by Ellie. 54-46. Varese of Italy with the lead.
You know, Mark, what happens in a game like this, you don't expect anything good. So you come out, you get a big lead, and you get excited, and you think, wait a second, we better get possessions here, take our time. And that's when it works against you. When they're playing free and easy, when they're at their best.
Duncan. Ellie with the follow. Mario Ellie able to flip it home. 6-point lead for Varese. 8 points for Ellie. This is a Varese team that advanced by beating CS Sanchez of Lebanon last night by 10. Look out. Foul on Ellie.
See, Minigan puts the ball on the floor, and Mario Ellie gets that leg out there, and he trips him. And the respect Ellie has, he reaches over to help this young guy up. I really like him. I have not seen much of him, but I like his flair. He's tough. He's got court awareness. He can shoot it. He'll put it on the floor. He's just experience away from being an NBA player.
He is the team captain. Member of the Italian national team that won the European championship.
Now, you know, just looking at his dad, you know he's a tough hombre.
Yes, he is. Yes, sir.
It jumps right off the picture.
That Dino, we talked about him earlier, considered to be the best player ever in the history of Italian basketball. Pacheco is rejected. And here comes Ellie, has a 3-on-2. Johnson, Avery Johnson able to finish. And the Spurs are down by just 4 with 4 minutes gone by in the third.
See, Pacheco right now, he can't handle the fact that he's only 2 for 12. So he's going to force things, but then he's not going to run back defensively. Avery Johnson now should be able to get out to the floor and make things happen.
Allen. And again, the Spurs look to run. Johnson pulls it back. Oh, Santiago, nicely done, breaking up that pass play. Oh, boy. Jackson with the foul. Madigan hit the foul. He did not like that foul by Jaren Jackson.
I tell you though, Mark, being a perimeter player, if I'm trying to throw that ball in the post and Santiago is coming over the top and knocking that ball down, you see Jaren Jackson there with a tough foul. But Hubie, the rule of thumb is big men got to protect the passer. You can't let that big guy come over the top and knock that ball down. And Duncan and Robinson aren't holding their positions, and it's causing the perimeter guys turnovers.
You know, you always tell your post-up guys, when you are being roughed up or overplayed on the top side, you have got to meet the pass first. Because what good is the pass if you don't catch it? Please meet the pass. We are not seeing that tonight at all in the low post.
Jaren Jackson now sits down, replaced by Terry Porter.
See, but Mark, this is that versatility that the Spurs have. I mean, they're going to sorely miss Sean Elliott, but now you bring Terry Porter, and he plays 2-guard, and now Mario Ellie slides down and plays a small forward position. So you've got some versatility. Samaki Walker can come in and take out one of the big guys. So they're just going to have to learn to play together here with this new lineup.
I tell you, despite the fact that, nice pass, and Duncan cuts it to a 2-point lead, although Sean Elliott not available following the kidney transplant. This squad is loaded, and Greg Popovich will have some difficulties at cut down. Colton Spencer, Steve Kerr, Jerome Kersey, Samaki Walker, Terry Porter. 15 players have been brought to Milan. Santiago, time runs out, 24-second violation.
We're starting to see glimpses now of the San Antonio defense. They're getting up, they're forcing the guys to put the ball on the floor and run it right into shot blockers.
Now, this is just a great move by David Robinson, kicking it out, putting the pressure on Avery Johnson. And we said that Avery Johnson can make it happen in the open floor right now because Fonseca is not getting back at all.
In Italy over the years, Mike D'Antoni said that he knew there was something wrong when he was called to Dan Issel's office, and Issel was there with an attorney sitting next to him. He felt he was in trouble, and as it turned out, he was fired by the Denver Nuggets. Robinson, and he's blocked. That is number 5 on Santiago.
Tough call. Very, very, very tough call on Santiago. Just keep an eye. David catches him right there. Oh, boy. David has no place to go, Doug. You know yourself. He could not turn the corner there.
Right, and see, David Robinson, when he isolates up there, always likes to go to his right. Even though he's a left-hand player, that's where he loves to drive that ball. And Santiago actually plays it perfectly, and that's a tough, tough call with it being his 5th. More importantly, Hubie, what you talked about in that first half when they put him back in with 3 and he picked up that 4th. That was deadly.
Doug, they were ahead by 12 at the time. I couldn't understand why they did that. You know, we realized that Fortes took that terrific shot right to the nose, but it's nice to see that he's back in the game right now.
Yes, Cristiano Fortes, who is back on the floor, took the elbow earlier from Jaren Jackson. Here's Robinson. Johnson with the save. And they're working on a new 24. We're halfway through the 3rd quarter. Spurs are down by just 2. Duncan with the fake. And again, Avery Johnson on the ball.
Oh, pretty pass.
And Johnson has tied the game at 54.
That was beautiful.
Yes, it was. Avery Johnson with the penetration to Ellie. He penetrates, and Johnson works right in behind him to get the shot.
Because you and I both know Ellie could have taken it and forced the shot.
Got it. She's done it.
San Antonio is trailed by as many as 14. This is Fortes, perhaps taking the extra step. And a foul against the Spurs.
Hubie, how many times do you do the guard breakdown drills? You do the exact thing right here where the guy helps out, you work in behind him. Those are drills you do every day in practice when you're working with your perimeter people.
You always tell your guys, when your man leaves you to help out on the dribbler, please create the passing angle. It's not the guy dribbling the ball's responsibility. It's your responsibility to create an easy pass.
Francesco Vescovi, 79% free throw shooter. Well, you can log on to NBA.com, where breaking news, video highlights, real-time scores, stats, and live radio broadcasts for every NBA game are just a click away. That's NBA.com, your ultimate online resource for all things NBA. Spurs now trailing by 1 with 5:15 remaining in the 3rd. Robinson off the double is called for steps.
Yeah, he was anxious, over-anxious that time. And you got to give the credit to the defense because they reacted quickly. Nice sandwich right there. 3 guys, triangle David, and forced the movement of the feet.
This is Woodruff for 3. Oh, wow. Dennis Wickerer, backup point guard, big guard is 6'5", able to knock down the 3, and it's a 4-point lead for Varese of Italy. Robinson off the triple coverage block, blocked by Fortes. Corey Allen, played by David Robinson. Francesco Vescovi's tripped by Jaren Jackson.
You know, it's interesting. It was a 7-point game at halftime. It looked like the Spurs were making a run again, and all of a sudden the big three, it's back to 4. So, you know, Mark, we played this, about 8 minutes of this quarter, and the Spurs have only knocked 3 points off the lead. They're hanging tough right now.
It's the head coach, Massimo Galli, in his first year as the head man of Varese. Chucky Brown has come on for the first time for the Spurs. Spent last year with Charlotte, averaged 8.5 points per game, signed by Seattle as a free agent. He has made the rounds, played for Cleveland, the Lakers, the Nets, Dallas, Houston, Phoenix, Milwaukee, and Atlanta. That's just off the top of my head.
You know, I think you're going to see Samaki Walker probably come in for David Robinson, and I like that lineup. You have Porter, Avery Johnson, Chucky Brown with Duncan and Samaki Walker.
Chucky Brown having trouble finding the handle. Robinson tip missed by by Brown. Just under 4 minutes remaining in the third. Here's Allen for 3. Brown. He's getting a little sloppy. Vescovi in the open floor.
Oh, nice fake.
And knocked out of bounds by Porter of the Spurs.
Now, Vescovi really made a beautiful fake. He took the defender right out of the picture. Unfortunately, when the pass went through, the catch wasn't there for the completion.
Now, Samaki Walker and Antonio Daniels check back in. Medellin.
He got hit. And he's right at the referee also. He got hit on that shot.
All right, here's Daniels taking it all the way. Antonio Daniels with a burst.
So you can see Medellin right now. He is all over Dan Bay. No doubt about it. He got hit hard.
4-point lead for Varese of Italy. Vescovi got the step. Went to the reverse. Daniels and Porter in the backcourt now. Duncan, Brown, Walker up front. And last touch by San Antonio.
You see Tim Duncan that time as he received the pass, he said, cut.
Yes,
and
right.
He did, and he tried to force the pass and got the turnover.
And he reminded Daniels again as he was going back.
Spurs, 2 All-Stars. Tim Duncan, David Robinson have combined to hit only 4 of 17 from the field.
You know, Marv, it goes back also. In the summertime when games are being played, big guys, it's hard for them to play because nobody passes, just run up and down the floor. So when you come to training camp, I've always felt it takes the bigger guys longer to get them in the kind of playing shape that you'd like for them to be in, to get their timing down.
Well, certainly the timing has not been there tonight. Penalty for the big guys for the entire Spur effort. Medellin is rejected by Duncan. Daniels, as we approach 2 minutes remaining in the third quarter. But to me, this is a typical first-round game by an NBA team at a McDonald's championship. Spurs are only their second preseason game. And the ball goes back to Varese.
And what is the tendency when you struggle? It's very easy for guys to start trying to do too much on their own. And that's not the way the Spurs play. They're a sum of their parts team.
Secunda, played by Walker. Oh, the steal by Porter. Took it right out of the hands of Cortez, and it brings the Spurs within 2.
Terry Porter, just an outstanding defender, always has been one of the premier defensive guards in the league.
8 points for Porter. 1:25 left in the third. Secunda, nice touch. Secunda, New Jersey's high school player of the year back in 1991. Played his college ball at Syracuse and at Penn State. Played under Mike D'Antoni at Benetton Treviso.
No, struggled last night, 2 for 8. Tonight he's 4 out of 5.
Duncan with the stuff. Serving up a facial on Cristiano Cortez.
Well, he's hot because he just cannot put a shot down. He's kind of embarrassed about the foul shooting, and he's displayed that on the foul line.
Duncan now has 10 points. Spurs down by 2. Vescovi. Stripped. Saved by Cortez. 1 on the shot clock. And too late. 24-second violation.
And this is just a great move by a very talented big man. Watch as he gets the shoulder ahead, the elevation, and the ability to cover that ground with the long reach.
Tim Duncan also not receiving the ball where he usually does. I can't ever recall a bank shot attempt.
That's right.
By Tim.
That's his shot. No question.
The steal by Vescovi. Samaki Walker back. Nice move by Vescovi, and he's fouled.
Heady player. You can tell he's a veteran guy. He just came down, lulled you to sleep with a stutter dribble. As soon as that defender stopped, he blew right by him.
Vescovi leading the way with 15 points. Well, the NBA is back. And you can tune to TNT for a preseason doubleheader next Friday. Miami, Phoenix, Golden State, and the LA Lakers take part in a doubleheader at the Great Western Forum. The coverage getting underway at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. That's next Friday, October the 22nd, right here on TNT. We're final seconds of the third. Here's Walker. And less than a second remaining in this third quarter. Vescovi did get it off. That's the end of 3. Varese of Italy leading the San Antonio Spurs, the NBA defending champions, by the score of 63-60. We'll be back with the fourth quarter in a moment. Is this man in a basketball uniform for the Varese Roosters of Italy? He is Guido Bagatta. He is a journalist for Italian TV. He is on the Varese roster for the McDonald's championship, dressed and ready to go. In fact, he played 1 minute last night in the fourth quarter. Got off 3 shots, 2 from three-point range. He did go 0 for 3. He is doing this as part of a feature for Italian TV, if you can believe it.
Well, now, Marv, I can see, you live in New York, that team media there. You could see the beat writers running out, hugging the guys playing like that, right?
No question. Guido Bagatta. Living out a fantasy.
Well, remember David Dupree when he was writing?
Yes.
Played with the Boston Celtics, went through their training camp, played in an exhibition game.
Yeah, George Plimpton was a paper lion, wasn't he?
Sure he was. Fourth quarter is underway, and our very own Ahmad Rashad.
That's right, he was in the Philly camp, I think. Hit a shot, and the coach was livid that they let him score.
That was with the Philadelphia 76ers, yes. Pacheco is fouled. Foul committed by Antonio Daniels. Varese of Italy got off to a 13-2 lead at the start, led by their center, Daniel Santiago, who was on fire. They led by as many as 14. San Antonio's been able to cut into that lead. And that is Wucherer once again from downtown.
Now, Marv, in this second half, as San Antonio has cranked up their defense, they've only outscored them 18-17.
And Porter comes back with a 3. So it's a 66-63 lead for Varese of Italy. Terry Porter has 11. Vescovi's have a hot hand. Another 3.
You have a dribble penetration. You know what happens? They got to stay with the shooters. and make Pacheco shoot one of those flying shots.
Mainly because he's so struggling. He's 2 for 14 from the field, but Vesco and Werner are killing him from the threes in the corner.
Duncan, and they'll jump it up.
Can you feel the sense of urgency starting to come into the Spurs? All of a sudden, Greg Popovich on the sideline, instead of sitting over with his coaches, is up now coaching every possession. Starting to get a little nervous here now, Marv.
Well, it has reached the point, it appeared during the third quarter, that the Spurs were about to take over this game, but Francesco Vescovi hitting the threes has really hurt. That's, a moment ago, his 4th three-pointer. He has 20 for the game.
He's on fire and has been from the opening whistle. And then Werderer has come in off the bench, a starter for the German national team, who started in the game here last evening. Did an excellent job. Now, he's new to this ball club, but he is 2 for 2 in threes also.
Chucky Brown is back on the floor. Antonio Daniels of the Spurs controlling. Good feed. It counts, and the foul. Daniels finding Samaki Walker, and Walker is headed to the line.
Now, this guy's got a ton of talent. He can catch the ball. He can finish. Very good offensive player. And Hubie talked about it. In Dallas, he was hurt 3 years of leg problems. More importantly, when you've been in a losing situation, you know you start sitting out games maybe that when you're with a competitive team you might play, and he's got to get that competitiveness back now about being on a championship caliber team, because you lose it when you play on a bad team.
Well, Doug, you're right on the money on him. You know, he's been ready to play 214 games. He's played 123, and he's missed 91. I mean, that's an incredible stat over a 3-year period.
And that stress fracture of the right foot that set him back a couple of years ago. Butcherer took the hip check from Porter.
If you can dribble at any level, you're going to make things happen. And if Italy continues to put the ball on the floor and blow by the defenders here, and then either finish, get a shot, or kick the ball to the corners, it's going to be a barn burner right to the end.
Spurs are down by 3. Santiago is back on the floor, playing now with the 5 fouls. Secunda. And this is Wucherer, who has been hot.
Oh, my, to the left hand. Hey, he's back in high school now in New Jersey, all right, because he's doing it with both hands.
Lefty over Duncan in the lane.
That's right. 22 for Francesco Vescovi. 71-66. The Italian team with the lead. And Duncan fouled by Santiago. That is number 6 on Santiago, who is hurt. Landed on his right wrist. Here's a look at it. Duncan off the drive, making contact. Santiago with the foul. We'll be back in a moment.
Watch the expanded version.
Milan, Italy. Marv Albert, Hubie Brown, Doug Collins, Ahmad Rashad. San Antonio Spurs down by 5. We're early 4th quarter.
Well, you can see the triple teaming of all post play and the excellent offside help. They have done a terrific job, and they're doing a good job not allowing the Spurs to get on the offensive board. They've never stopped hustling from the opening tap. They've never been behind. And this is a frightening graphic.
Well, you see 5 for 20, then I think it's, 7 for 16 from the free throw line. You see the minutes played. It'll be very interesting with David Robinson struggling as he is. Will Greg Popovich come back with him or say, look, I've got to go with a team right now that maybe is a little fresher? Make another missed free throw.
Another missed free throw. I do not think that their coaching staff thought that Tim Duncan was going to have to play over 40 minutes to beat this clean tonight.
Santiago just fouled out a moment ago. Leaves with 11 points and hurt his wrist when he hit the floor. Tim Duncan is now 5 of 12 at the foul line. Good setup from Pacheco for Fortes. So Cristiano Fortes back on the floor with the departure of Daniel Santiago. And Varese of Italy up 73-67. Duncan just cannot buy one.
Give them credit, though, Marv. They are all over him. I mean, it's not two guys. They're triple teaming the post play.
Duncan is now 3 of 12 from the field. Duncan with the steal. Johnson ahead of the field. And it cuts it to a 4-point Varese lead.
Whenever you're having a bad night, you make up for it at the defensive end of the floor. And that's the one thing he is doing. He's playing angry. That's hurting his offensive game. The Italian team is doing terrific defense on him, but he's not stopping at the defensive end.
Cortez fouled on the drive, and he is shaken up.
Well, Glenn Secunda gets over in a trap, and he tries that cross-court soft pass. And you just cannot allow that to happen because San Antonio out in those passing lanes and Avery Johnson to finish. And if you're the Italian team right now, the last thing you want to do is give up a layup because they're struggling, and you want to make them work hard to score.
And an ovation greeting Francesco Vescovi as he is replaced by Andrea Meneghin. Vescovi with 20 points. And there he is next to his good friend Guido, who does not figure to see action tonight.
Mario Ellie did not block out the shooter, and they picked up that missed foul shot. It's all the little things tonight. Spurs are getting beaten off the dribble. The rotations are late.
Otseco misfires on the 3. That was rebound number 14 for Tim Duncan, who does have impressive numbers off the board, plus 3 block shots.
Oh, what a catch.
And a foul on Varese. It's called on Cortez.
A difficult catch because it was a surprise pass. David Robinson rolled the wrong way. He made a 360 turn, never saw the ball until the last second.
Good effort. Knocked out of bounds by Wutcherer. Both teams have 3 team fouls. Spurs trailing by 5, and as we have discussed throughout the game, there have been a couple of close calls in the McDonald's back in 1990 in Barcelona, an opening round game. The Knicks just did get by in overtime. 91 in Paris. The Lakers, led by Magic Johnson, sweep by Barcelona 116-114. And you can put this one alongside those two because this one appears to be headed to the final minutes.
You know, Marv, normally during the exhibition season, if you lost a game like this, it would be a great teaching point. You could bring the film out and show your team. Not tonight. This is not a great teaching point.
Duncan. And a foul again on Varese.
Varese players are not timid in attacking Duncan and Robinson low when they make their move. They are coming right in there and putting a body on the offensive player.
Foul on Secunda, his 3rd. And Terry Porter knocked it down and then had something to say to someone on the Varese bench.
Well, that's the 2nd time. See, they've been on Terry Porter, so he's been talking to them every minute that he's out there.
It is a 2-point lead. Spurs trail by 2. Porter is 4 for 5, 14 points in all. And again, the nice cut by Dennis Wutcherer, who has 13 points.
You know what also happens, Marv, in a game like this? There's so much movement in the Italian offense. Normally in an NBA game, you play a 3-in, 2-out kind of game, and it's disjointed, and the Spurs are having trouble with it.
Shot clock at 6. Mario Ellie for 3.
And you mean when in a situation like this, when you're a coach, you go to your best competitors. And that's what Popovich has done. Look on the floor. These are his best competitors.
Very good call, Doug. And he's been rewarded by doing this because the two best 3-point shooters have knocked him down.
Ellie now has 11. Here is Secunda. And the Spurs have a chance to take the lead for the first time tonight. And they do. They're up by 1 with 6.5 remaining on the 4.
It's a good timeout. He needs a timeout. Young coach is up there. This is his first year with this ball club. And what he's doing, smart. Ball timeout. Let's regroup.
Well, Terry Porter with the deep 3 has something to say to the bench right there. And it's a guy who's been in the finals with Portland a couple times. And Mario Ellie This is the shot he calls the kiss of death over there. Normally when the game is on the line, he throws the little kiss, and then Avery Johnson. So the defense is picked up. The perimeter players are now hitting some shots, and they finally got the lead.
Spurs on top for the first time tonight. We'll be right back. Spurs picking up the shooting of the second half, while Varese, after the 50% shooting in the first half, has dropped off considerably. And there's Daniel Santiago, who has had it for the evening. He was providing problems for San Antonio, but he's fouled out.
Unfortunately for his team, he was only able to be on the floor for 15 minutes.
I think Minigan's got to come through here. He's a guy that can get shots for himself. He's got to be more aggressive right now.
Coming up on 6 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. Wutcherer off the spin. There's Allen. Try to go glass. Ellie with the rebound. Avery Johnson setting it up. Oh, surprised. Ellie has to save it. Sloppy sequence by San Antonio. And one of those nights they're looking at each other, they're making faces, a little miscommunication. Pacheco. And then again looking for the screen. Yeah, that takes all the way. Rebounded by Allen. It counts and the foul.
Yeah, but see, Marv, what happens with that penetration, he brings everybody over with him, and then nobody's on that weak side board, so you get a great second shot opportunity.
Good call. And you're going to see his man come right across the lane to pick up Minigan, and that opens up Allen. But smart move by Allen. He did not stay out wide. He went right to the rim looking for the miss.
Foul on Robinson, his fourth, and a timeout taken with 5:38 left in the fourth. So the Spurs once again are trailing down by 1.
Who's been terrific off the bench, Terry Porter. He's a guy who's made big shots his entire career, and they've needed them all tonight. See back-to-back threes, again from the corner. So big shots. He and Mario Ellie right now, Marv, and they're going to need some more of this to finish this game, as they're going to have to win this game. I don't think Italy's just going to cough it up. I mean, they've been in the game this long. They're not going to cough it up.
And this is an Italian team, Varese, in their current regular season, only 3-3. The defending champions off to a so-so start. In fact, they've been struggling defensively. This is an offensive-minded team. They're here because they are the host country. They automatically make their way to the McDonald's championship. Robinson on the follow. And that ties the game at 79.
Well, Duncan and Robinson must make a major presence every time a shot is missed. Anytime that they get a defensive rebound, they got to kick it out and get those 3 flyers in the open floor for the Spurs.
5 minutes remaining in the fourth. And pass. Robinson, Duncan, and Ellie up front. Johnson and Porter in the backcourt.
There's that bank shot you're looking at, Marv. Looked like he was squaring it up.
Avery Johnson on the reverse.
Pacheco got caught turning his head. Avery Johnson backdoored him from the other corner. And a beautiful pass by Duncan.
16 for Avery Johnson. And San Antonio leads by 2. Allen going baseline and throws it away. So sloppy play here by Varese of Italy. Mario Ellie, yes, a 3 for Ellie.
See, Mark, what happens with San Antonio's defense? They force you baseline into a shot blocker, and then they rotate down into the passing lane, and twice now they've picked those passes off. And again, Mario Ellie with a huge shot.
Spurs with their biggest lead of the night. They're up by 5, but Seiko is tripped up. San Antonio now 4 of 4 from downtown here in the fourth.
Now you're going to see a real good offensive rebound. The ball bounces out. David Macon there. Now just watch right here. Avery Johnson backdoor Pacheco from the opposite corner. Now, on the fast break, the defender went with the cutter through the lane, and it opened up Mario Lelli. Now, a lot of point guards would have tried to force that past to Duncan going through. Avery Johnson allowed it to happen to open up that three in that left-handed corner.
Seiko on the line. Reminder, you can check out cnnsi.com for complete NBA on TNT and TBS schedules for the upcoming season. Turner Sports and cnnsi.com have got you covered for NBA games and news all year long. 84-80. San Antonio with the lead.
Now, if Duncan or Robinson catch the ball inside for a layup, you got to foul them because they're struggling so much. You can't let them lay the ball in the basket.
Oh, big shot by Ellie. 16 for Ellie, 16 for Johnson. They have led the way for the Spurs.
Well, remember how the Spurs used to be talked about as a soft team? When you have Mario Ellie out there with Terry Porter, they're anything but soft. These guys are tough.
Vescovi, I think he was surprised he had that much room to operate. And then Duncan pegs it down. Ellie feeling it. Ellie able to keep it alive, but Rooker on it and fouled by Porter.
See, Ellie's shot there, I think that would have broke their spirits. If he hit that three, it would have made it a 9-point game, and I think it would have been over. Now they've got a chance to hang in there. You see Ellie here as he steps up at the top and he misses. He tried to track his own shot down and tip it to Robinson, but again, David just can't move after the ball. He just couldn't get there, Hubie.
You're right on that, Doug. And you're not going to say a word to Ellie for putting up that three. He was wide open, and he has a feel right now.
Well, that's one of those shots that Larry Bird was a master of. He felt like the game was teetering, and he thought, if I can hit one of those shots, it'll break your back. And that's what Ellie tried to do there, Mark.
What's her good foul shooter, 87%, but hits 1 of 2. Substitution waived, and that's Corey Allen coming on for Dennis Woodruff. 86-81. Spurs have the lead. 3 minutes remaining in the fourth.
Right now, Varese is trying to match up because they came with Corey Allen right now to get on Duncan. He's more physical with him. They were trying to play him with a small forward.
Nice. Open shot to Porter. By Avery Johnson.
And Hubie, this point guard, Fonseca, is exciting. I'm telling you what, you'd either have to have a seatbelt as a coach strapped around you, or he'd be sitting over there beside you. This guy is just so turnover prone and accident prone.
San Antonio up by 7. Medellin.
Yeah, Medellin wanted the foul on the shot. He was hit. He was bumped on the hip on that release.
11 points for Andrea Medellin. 88-83 San Antonio, and the ball back to Varese.
So, Mark, you did the New York games last year. Remember the finals when Allen Houston and Sprewell, those are those little medium-range jump shots that you have to take against the Spurs, and that's what Meanigan did on that last possession.
And there has certainly... Oh, Robinson looking for the reject and is called for the foul. That's been a lost art, hasn't it? Medium-range jump shooting.
Well, we all know that that's disappeared from basketball at all levels, high school, college, and the NBA. See, Fonseca, he's been soaking for so long. He's gone away from his strength, and that is off the dribble, take it to the basket, force the defense to cover, and then dish off. And that's why the team looks so good in that first half, because of his penetration off the dribble. But because he cannot make a shot, he is now just kind of backed off the play and allowed Avery Johnson to become the guy who is making things happen.
Varese just 10 of 21 at the foul line. 88-84 San Antonio, just under 2 remaining in the fourth quarter. Oh, Fonseca went down off that pick set by Duncan. Ellie with the save, gets it to Duncan. What a play by Mario Ellie.
Now, Fonseca's going to get a technical here for his team. They gave him a break there, Marv. They should have called a T there.
Right. Minute 35 remaining. 6-point San Antonio lead. Fonseca off the pick. Then on a switch by Duncan. He is an adventure. Whoa. Threw it away once again and deflected out. Last touch by Varese.
See, he's one of those guys, when you play with him, you can't get any kind of rhythm because you don't know what he's going to do. He's out there moving around the ball, and you're coming off screens, and he can't even see you.
Duncan, crowd wanted to travel, so Tim Duncan hits the perimeter shot, and the Spurs now lead by 8. That was assist number 12 for Avery Johnson. Medellin, Robinson on it, and a foul hit by Fortes of the Italian team. We're down to a minute 6 remaining in the fourth quarter. So they are now over the limit, and Robinson will go to the line.
To back up the statements about Fonseca, he was the national team point guard for many years. This past summer, they did not have him on the team, and the team won the European Championship in France. And to back up what you were saying, Doug, because as you can see, he's a nightmare because he's sensational, and then he can break your heart in a second. But the thing which I did not like at all this evening is he gave up defensively in transition and allowed Avery Johnson to evolve and make things happen for the Spurs. And, you know, I think that if we went to talk to him right now, he wouldn't understand that.
I wouldn't disagree with that. I mean, he doesn't have a concept of how to run a team. And, you know, being exciting is one thing, but you got to run a team.
That's a good word, evolve, because Avery Johnson did not have the game going early.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
It just kept coming and coming. Right. Just under a minute remaining in this fourth quarter. 9-point San Antonio lead. Fonseca and the foul, reaching called on Walker. Tomorrow on NBC Sports, you can see the final game of the McDonald's Championship. Coverage will get underway at noon Eastern time on NBC. Fonseca to the foul line. He's an 86% free throw shooter. And as you look down through the tournament history of the McDonald's Championship, see some of the most valuable players.
I see nobody touches that ball, so they get it back here underneath the basket.
Oh, Duncan is crushed that he threw that ball out of bounds.
But you know, UB, whether it's an exhibition game or whatever, as a coach, you want to see your team execute in these kind of situations, because this is going to be occurring real quick. November 2nd, when they play Philly, they're going to have to play under pressure. People are going to come after them.
Corey Allen able to get inside, but not able to hit. And now they pull it back, playing the clock as we come up on 30 seconds remaining in the game. Yes, the Spurs open the season November 2nd at home against the Sixers, then home for Golden State, followed by a 4-game road trip at Houston, Phoenix, Golden State, and then the LA Clippers.
And that Western Conference is loaded, Marv. You had a lot of teams who upgraded their talent. There's some terrific teams out there, some trades, some free agent signings, and there's going to be some tremendous competition, and you can ill afford to dig yourself a hole. They can't go 6-8 this year and hope to dig themselves out of that and have the best record in the Western Conference.
I think their biggest problem is going to be cutting this team over the remaining time during the exhibition season. And while you're doing that, give guys a fair shake, because you brought in some talented people here, and then you might not have that chemistry as you come out of the box.
Looks like Varese is trying to empty its bench, which would include the Italian television journalist Guido Bagana, who hears it from the crowd. And this crowd applauding the effort of Varese of Italy. Head coach Massimo Galli nodding to the crowd in appreciation.
I'll tell you what will happen too, Marv, after the game. The San Antonio Spurs, to a man, will walk down and shake these guys' hands because these guys competed. They didn't roll over, and they made San Antonio win the game. And it's a great experience for these guys because they played against the world champions. Now what they have to do is take it in their league and use it to their advantage.
Varese led by Francesco Vescovi with 20 points. Dennis Witcher off the bench with 14. Daniel Santiago with 11, all over the 11 points the first 6 minutes. Avery Johnson is the high scorer for San Antonio with 18. Tim Duncan just 5 of 15 from the field, but has 15 points at 16 rebounds. David Robinson 11 points on 3 of 10 shooting. Mario Ellie 16. Terry Porter has 15 points.
See, you know what also happens, Marv, in a game like this is your Popovich coaching San Antonio, and you say, you know what, I'd love to be able to see Samaki Walker with this group of guys. I'd like to see Chucky Brown. He couldn't do that tonight. He had to put the guys out there he was comfortable with so he could win this game.
It's not a normal preseason game. The Spurs do not want to be embarrassed.
Absolutely.
So there is a degree of pressure, and he had to stay with his top 7-8 guys. Here's Chucky Brown checking back in.
For anyone who does not want to believe that, just check Tim Duncan's minutes played this evening.
Yes, sir.
And there he is, Guido Bagana.
Well, he played the entire second half. He played 20 in the first half, and now he played 24 in the second. So he basically played all except the last 18 seconds of the game.
Pass intended for Bagana. Not able to handle it. We're down to 12 seconds remaining in the game. And here is a look as we focus on Guido Bagana. You want to take that replay?
Well, Guido, I'll tell you, you're not going to score against these guys. They don't want to be dissed all season long.
Antonio Daniels, I've been thinking, who is this guy? And he's fouled. With 1 6/10 seconds remaining in the game, so San Antonio Spurs will make it to the final game of the McDonald's Championship after the shaky start.
Well, tomorrow across the NBA, for all the teams that were playing this evening and did not have a chance to watch this telecast, they'll look at the final score and say, hey, Spurs probably played 18 guys. Right? Everyone got about 16, 18 minutes tonight.
And I'm telling you guys, they are going to go through a tremendous adjustment period without Sean Elliott. That guy was a very valuable part of their team. Defensively, making open shots, creating off the dribble. That's a big loss for them, Marv.
10-point lead for the Spurs, and that is the way it concludes. And as you mentioned, here are the Spurs going over to the bench of Varese of Italy and congratulating them on a terrific effort tonight. The Spurs won it 96-86. It was not easy, though. They had to come from behind. We'll be back to wrap it in a moment. Back in Milan, San Antonio Spurs have defeated Varese of Italy 96-86. One of the stars for the Spurs, a man who is no stranger to overseas play, Mario Ellie, hit some clutch shots, finished with 16 points, and he's with Ahmad.
All right, thanks, Marv. Mario, you did hit some clutch shots, but you needed to hit some clutch shots. This was a tough game for you guys.
It's always a tough game when you come over here and fly along, but we didn't get off to a good start. It's one of them games we underestimate our opponent. We got to come out with the killer instinct. And I got to give that Italian team credit. They took it at us the first half, woke us up a little bit, and we needed to dig down deep, to come back and win this game.
How much pressure on you guys up there? Were you feeling the pressure because you don't want to come over here and really get embarrassed by getting beaten a team like this?
The only good thing is a lot of other NBA teams had a lot of close games, but I know deep in my heart we got too many veterans here. We refused to lose, and we stepped up big in the fourth quarter. Myself, Terry, Jaron, and AJ, they was doubling down a lot on Tim and Dave, and we had to hit the outside shots.
It seemed like late in the fourth quarter, it came down to who wanted to compete, who really wanted to get out there and stop this thing.
Exactly. I want to be out there, I've been in this game a long time. I like it when it's tight, and my guys were finding me in the fourth quarter. We had some big threes, to just get us over that hump, and we got a double-digit lead and just held them off.
All right, we'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks a lot, buddy.
All right, back to you, Marv.
Thanks, Ahmad. San Antonio trailing by as many as 14 points, but able to come away with the victory. Coming up next, it'll be Vasco da Gama of Brazil going up against Žalgiris Kaunas of Lithuania.